What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So in this video we have another package from perfumeonline.ca. The good folks over there were kind enough to send these fragrances my way. Obviously none of that ever influences what I have to say, but there's actually all three of them. I was going to say 2 out of the 3 fragrances in here are bucket list fragrances, but really all 3 of them, because even the Rasasi fragrance I've been wanting for a while. I mean, I picked all these out. I'm super excited. 2 of the 3 I've smelled before. 1 I had a decant of. We're going to bust these open, take a look, and kind of refresh our noses and our memories. So stay tuned. Once again, this video is brought to you today by the good folks at perfumeonline.ca for sending these fragrances my way. For those of you not familiar with perfumeonline.ca, they are Canada's #1 online discount choice. They have stuff from cheap Middle Eastern, which you've seen me get a lot of stuff from them if you've been following the channel for a while now. Niche, they have a lot of designers, like some of the designers featured in this video, for example. Some harder to find vintage stuff, some discontinued, competitive prices on everything. They just have a large selection to look through. And definitely check them out in the links below. But for now, let's bust this package open and smell some fragrances. So they always package really well. Bubble wrap upon bubble wrap upon bubble wrap. There's all kinds of bubble wrap. They do a great job. So the Rasasi fragrance is Rasasi Sotoor Raa. Very excited. It's supposed to be like a fresh white floral fragrance. I got really excited and wanted to try this one because of my good friend Joy Amin. Shout outs to Joy Amin. I've seen a review a while back from him on this one, and I was like, ooh, I need to get that one. So I have that now. Then a 50 ml of 1 million Elixir. I've only tried this once. I don't remember completely what it smelled like. It was at a Sephora on a test strip, but I do remember enjoying it, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna get that one. And then lastly, definitely a bucket list item, Waila Parfum. Been wanting to get this one. My decant, I have about a third of my 3 ml decant left, but it was time to get it because this is the best smelling version of Y in my opinion. So we're gonna bust all 3 of these open, give them a spray, talk about them a little bit. So first things first, let's go with 1 million Elixir. I've only smelled it the one time. I'm pretty excited to finally have this one. I've been wanting to get this one for several months now. So here we are. Highly reflective. 1 million Elixir. At the recording of this, Royal is out already. I did a first impressions on that one. I remember liking this one quite a bit more than Royal, but I'm fresh out the shower. There's nothing on this hand. One good spray. Big wide sprays. You don't need much. That's much more along the lines of 1 million. Sweet and spicy. Quite sweet. A little bit like... has that traditional kind of cinnamon-esque spice smell to it. It could be a different spice, but it kind of comes across like that cinnamon smell that the 1 million line is known for. It's a bit more of a woody facet to this one. I don't find this as sweet. Obviously, none of them are as sweet, really, as the original 1 million. Or is 1 million Lucky. Obviously it smells nothing like Lucky, but I'm trying to tie it to the original 1 million's DNA as best I can. And while it does give me a faint resemblance to it, it's kind of its own fragrance. It does smell like 1 million, but not like this is just some highly concentrated version of it. No, that's definitely not the case. Which I believe this is a Parfum. Yeah, Parfum Intense. Damn, this smells good. Let's pull up some notes and see what we're looking at here. So I'll put it on screen for you guys. It's going to be on screen for me to look at above the camera. So that's why I'll be looking up. Parfumo. So 1 million Elixir, Manicourt, sweet, fruity, synthetic, floral, and spicy. Top notes, Davana and apple. Interesting sweetness. It's got a little bit of a boozy tone to it in the opening. Heart notes of tonka bean, Turkish rose, and osmanthus. Base notes of Davana again. Vanilla and cedarwood. So vanilla tonka bean combo that explains a lot of the sweetness. But it's not really overdone. Davana's a little bit on the sweet side too. It's kind of a sweet herbal note. But for all these sweet notes, it's not overly sweet. Not to me anyways. The cedar wood's definitely setting in pretty well because it's very, I get a very strong woody presence to this scent profile. Osmanthus doesn't jump out at me. It's kind of an earthy floral tone. Don't get a lot of that. And the apple, not super fruity or anything like that. I would not have guessed apple was in here because it doesn't really smell like it to me. A lot of vanilla woods and this herbal feel. The rose is setting in more, though. Osmanthus could be kind of playing a part with it, but smells like this deep rose. Not super fresh. Like Turkish rose is typically a fresh rose. I don't really get a fresh rose smell. I get more of a rich, thick rose smell. Not quite jammy like a Bulgarian rose, but it's on the thicker side. It's probably because of the composition, the way it's blended. The other notes kind of working in unison with it. It smells really good, though. I'm probably going to throw this one in the rotation. This might be my scent of the day this video goes live. So we'll give it a first impressions rating here at the end, but first one out the box, Paco Rabanne's 1 million Elixir. Next, we're going Waila Parfum. Big fan of this one. Big fan. This is far from a first impressions. The beautiful black bottle with the black Y going around. Get it to focus real quick. There we go. Just a stunner through and through. I love the Y DNA. I'm not super impressed by the newest one, Y Eau de Parfum Intense. This one is much more impressive, in my opinion. Again, like I said before, this is the best smelling one. I get more of an orangey type of smell from Waila Parfum. I want to say orange is in here. It's been so long since I've looked at the notes. We'll visit the notes in a minute. Yeah, it's got this orangey smell to it at the top, but still has that sage ambergris kind of base DNA jumping out at me. Very aromatic. For being the parfum flanker, it doesn't lose any of the freshness. It's thicker, it is richer. Overall, it's a thicker smell, but it doesn't lack any of the freshness of any of the other versions. You don't, now, obviously it's not as fresh as the Eau de Toilette or even the Eau Fraiche, but the Eau Fraiche is more about lemon ginger, kind of ventures from the DNA the most of all the flankers, whereas this one doesn't completely venture from it. I don't get the apple smell that EDT and EDP are kind of known for. Maybe a little bit, but I get more of an orange type of smell here. A little bit of a subtle smoky tone and very woodsy. Very musky ambergris smell too, though. Like I said, this is, to me, this is the best smelling version of Y. Is it the one I'm going to wear the most? No, probably not. I still wear the EDT the most, mainly in the summer. But this is the best smelling one. It's going to get my vote over and over. Let's pull up the notes on this one. Here we go. So orange is not in the notes. It's kind of, I guess, the way that the apple grapefruit combo comes across with the aldehydes and stuff like that. It's a little bit of an orangey smell to me. It always has. I've never not smelled this. So top notes, apple, aldehyde, ginger, and grapefruit. That's just a beautiful top. It just sounds beautiful, right? The heart of sage, geranium absolute, and lavender, a bunch of aromatics here. And then the base of tonka bean, cedar wood, frankincense, there's that smoky nuance, and patchouli. So it doesn't come across like a fizzy grapefruit to me. Like I said, it's more of a fizzy orangey type of smell. The apple, like I said, doesn't, I wasn't sure if it was in here because it doesn't jump out at me the way that it does in the other flankers. It is coming out a little bit more than it's settling, but I get a lot of the aromatics here, the sage. I get plenty of the tonka bean. I still get that ambergris smell, though. It's not listing the ambergris from the original DNA. I still get that muskiness, that ambergris smell to it, with quite a bit of incense starting to settle in. And maybe that's why I think this is the best smelling one so much, because I love incense. I love a good incense note. Those of you who've been watching me for a while, you know that about me. That might be why I like this one the most as far as just the scent. So good. God, this is so good. This is going to get the highest rating, spoiler alert, of the three fragrances. just love this one so much. This is such a great, well done, well composed blue fragrance. It still smells like a blue fragrance. It didn't venture away far from the DNA. It is a deeper, richer take with that smokiness. I love that depth that frankincense provides. To the original. Yeah, that's super happy to have a bottle of this now. YSL Waila Parfum. Then last but not least, Sotoor. The Sotoor line. From Rasasi, this is Raa. I don't know, R-A-A. Haven't seen one of these bottles in person yet. I know it's a blue juice. That's aesthetically pleasing, very uniform. I like what I'm seeing. Vinyl label. Love the color of the juice. We are going to go... I'm going to take these bracelets off and we're going to go right on the wrist right here. So I don't remember the notes specifically, but I remember there being fresh and ozonic tones and white florals, if I remember correctly. I remember white florals being a thing for this, on the more synthetic smelling side, and so on. This is going to sound a little strange. I immediately think baby wipes, and no, not Tom Ford fucking fabulous. Then again, it could... little bit, but not completely. This has a clean linen hand wipes type of smell to it. I could see some being turned off by this, but there's an odd attractiveness to it. Something spicy. It's very white floral. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a lot of jasmine and lily of the valley here. Kind of comes across that way. But it's very bright and fresh and a little, not quite watery, but ozonic for sure. Even aldehydic in some ways. In a specific, like, there's almost quite a bit of an effervescence in some ways. Not quite as much as something like this, but a little bit. I can't help but think of hand wipes. That may turn some off. This is an interesting one. I have nothing that smells like this. Nothing at all. So it's a little bit of fruitiness in the background. It smells like there could be some rose in here, not just white florals. Let's pull up the notes. I'm quite curious because I don't remember the notes. Okay, so, wow, I nailed a few of these notes. So manichords are aquatic, fresh, floral, animalic, and spicy. Top notes are bergamot and citrus notes. Heart notes are lily of the valley and jasmine. Called that because it definitely came across that way. And nutmeg. Base notes, animalic musk and patchouli. I could get the aquatic tone to this. That's why I was kind of saying more ozonic, because it's not really watery. Like, it didn't smell like watery notes, but there's something kind of giving that feel to it. Animalic musk. Interesting. So, I wouldn't have guessed that. It definitely has a muskiness. But the white floral tone definitely standing out. The nutmeg, I'm getting some spice. But it's not drying it out. Nutmeg on my skin most of the time has like this dry woody spice smell to it. I'm just getting kind of a spicy tone, like spicy white floral with a little bit of a airy watery feel. Pretty much the best way I can describe this one. Seems to come across pretty strong on my skin. It's a Rasasi fragrance. I'm sure it's going to perform really well. Very unisex. Nothing super feminine, but definitely not a masculine scent profile. I could see this being polarizing. I could see some people passing on this one. This is kind of what I expected, because the way Joy described it is kind of... Now, it's been, like I said, it's been months and months and months, well, over 6 months since I saw that video, and I just kind of put it in the memory bank like, ooh, I want to get that one day. This is distinctive, and it smells like if you overspray this one, you're gonna choke yourself out, let alone other people. Okay, not too shabby, but let's get into some first impressions ratings. So we start with the first fragrance, as it's had the most time to dry down. 1 million Elixir. The dry down is magnificent. It is getting so good. The Davana here is standing out. It's that sweet green tone. I still get plenty of the wood. The cedar wood smell, a lot of it. The rose is set in more, but I feel like I'm getting more patchouli than I am rose. It's a little earthy. Could be the osmanthus finally setting in. Who knows? It doesn't smell like it distinctively to me, but it's more of an earthy tone here with the sweetness in the woods. This is great. This is a great smell. This is a great smelling fragrance. I like this a lot. 1 million Elixir. This is an 8 out of 10. I'm digging this one. This is really good. Going to do a full review eventually. Obviously, I got to do some wearings and spend some time with this one and see how it develops on my skin, performance, and so on. Put it in a few situations, see how it wears on me, what it wears well with. This smells really good, though. Yeah, 1 million Elixir, easy 8 out of 10. YSL Waila Parfum. The one I was most excited to get, don't get me wrong, I'm excited to have all three of these. But this one, oh, the smokiness is setting in more and more. And I'm sorry, even though ambergris is not listed, I still smell a lot of this ambergris aquatic musky tone that the base DNA has. I still smell it in there. I'm convinced it's in there. Nobody can tell me otherwise. The only person that can tell me otherwise is the perfumer, which I doubt we'll ever have a conversation. So, there you go. Very aldehydic and fizzy. Very fizzy, bright citrus. The way it blends, it comes across a little orange smelling, like I said before. Even though orange isn't listed, it's apple and grapefruit. I get it. It's just how it comes across to me. I just sit here and smell it and smell it and smell it. God, I love this one. It's so good, guys. I mean, I'm debating on which of the two I want to give it. Since I can't decide between the two, I'm going to split the difference. Instead of a 9 or a 9.5, I'm going to give this a 9.25 out of 10. I like it that much, guys. This is the best version of Y. It is. This is the best version of Y. You can pull this one off in the summer. You can pull this one off in the winter. It's not too heavy of a performer while still being a heavier smelling aroma with having the freshness, because the EDP can be cloyingly sweet when it's really hot outside, whereas with my decant, which I don't have handy anymore, I cleaned up my decants that are normally sitting right here. I only have a few now. I boxed up a bunch of stuff I haven't been wearing, and that one's almost empty, so I moved that one, the decant, for this. So yeah, I think a 9.25 outstanding is going to work for me. I couldn't quite do 9.5. I felt like 9 wasn't enough, so there we are. This may surprise some of you. Some of you are going to totally agree with me. But Waila Parfum, this is one of the best blue fragrances out on the market. And finally, Rasasi Sotoor Raa. I like this weird-ass fragrance. This is a weird freshie. I wouldn't necessarily call it a blue fragrance either. It's got this light bluish juice. Very pretty color. Very pretty color. Love the label too. The vinyl label with the print and everything. It's very nice. A lot of white florals, but the spice stops it from being too feminine. Musky, a little earth. It's becoming a little darker and earthy. That's the patchouli, but it's more of a creamy patchouli. I like this one. I'm sure there's people out there that don't like this at all that have tried it, because this strikes me as a strange, polarizing fragrance. I kind of dig this one a good bit. I think it's very good. I do. I think it's very good. I think this one is a 7 out of 10. Yeah, I'm going to spend some time with this one. Subject to change. It could get better with the rating. And this is one that I believe has a chance to get worse too, depending on the wearing experience. It all comes down to my own personal wearing experience, regardless of what anybody else thinks about it. Obviously, if I get just straight negativity, that'll affect my thoughts and feelings on it, because if several people tell you it does not smell good on you, are you really going to keep wearing it? Unless you just absolutely love it, because I don't absolutely love it, but I do quite like this one. This is different. 7 out of 10. Well, that's my thoughts and feelings on these three fragrances. And until next time, do me a real quick favor. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, because I do appreciate all the feedback, and I love hearing from you guys. Thank you again to perfumeonline.ca for sending these my way. I can't wait to start doing some full wearings and spend some time with these. I'm going to be doing reviews on all three of these in the coming weeks. Definitely check them out down in the links below if you're interested in getting any of these. or anything else from Perfume Online. You guys know I get some stuff from them, and I buy a lot of stuff from them. I shop with perfumeonline.ca quite a bit, so check them out. They got great prices on a bunch of stuff. And until next time, I will say, if you get your hands on any of the 3 we talked about in this video and you give them a spray now, pretty confident you'll thank me later. Have a good one, guys.